What is up, guys? So I've got a pretty cool deck profile for you here today, and it's gonna be ninjas. This deck, one of the things I really love about Yu-Gi-Oh is when you come across a deck that is just, it's so unique, and like you think it's so unassuming, and then it's like you play it for a bit and you discover it can do so much cool things. I mean, that's what I think really keeps the game fresh for me. And it's one of the reasons I really like rogue and like non-meta decks, because I love discovering new combos, discovering new decks and stuff. But yeah, ninjas. So yeah, someone asked for a ninja deck profile, and I said I've been working on it for the past few days. And at first I was doing a pure ninja deck, but then after a while I saw they had a lot of spam potential, especially after looking at some other people's kind of old builds. And yeah, definitely after playing it for a bit, I thought, you know what, let me try and do a bit of a combo variant. And so this is my variant of ninjas. And so you can see from that hand, I ended up on an Appaloosa with 3 negates, a Dweller, and a Hope Harbinger. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 negates and an interruption. I also have 2 intact scales, a callback, and I've ended with 3 cards in my hand. I mean, this deck's insane, and this combo is pretty much accessible via any ninja hand that can access Isolde and has one extra ninja in your hand. So it's quite an easy combo to get through. So guys, this is going to be my ninja deck profile. I might do another one because I do think pure ninjas probably are just as strong, just in a different way, more focused on control. And I know there are some crazy locks you can do with ninjas as well, but this combo variant is just so good that I really had to upload it. You can see I haven't even done a proper side deck for this yet, because it's really about that kind of insane going first potential. But there's always some side deck cards that you can pick. I might even fill it in at the end of this video just so you guys know the kind of things you're working with. But I'm going to go through the ninja cards. There are quite a few ninja cards, but I don't play all of them. I'm not a fan of playing one-offs of crap cards just for the sake of. There are also some Karakuri cards and stuff. I saw some people doing some nonsense with that, but it just felt too bricky. What I really like about this variant is that essentially if you open either Upstart or Hanzo, it's so easy to get into this combo. It's so consistent, because all you really need is Isolde, and then Isolde does it for you. Isolde searches both of your skills for you, and so then everything else in your hand is just fodder to put on the field. So this deck is really just geared around getting to that Isolde, and the card is busted. Another thing, I do think this deck probably could abuse some Halka Fibrax combos as well. I just haven't tried yet. So again, like I said, I'm definitely going to release another 1 or 2 ninja profiles in the next month or 2, and they might have Halka Fibrax combos instead. But I'll just go with this for now. So we're going to start with 3 Twilight Ninja Getsuga, the Shogun. So you contribute summon this card by tributing 1 ninja. If it's in attack position, you can target 2 ninjas in your grave, accept itself, change this card to defense, and then special summon those monsters. You can only use that effect once per turn. So this card is amazing. A double monster reborn for your ninja cards. What's amazing about this card as well is the fact that it's a level 8 and ninjas have a level 1 scale, 1 scale and a 10 scale. So it's so easy to bring out. This card is going to be one of the cards you search almost always of your first Hanzo, because you always want it in your hand so you can pendulum summon it out. But yeah, it's just insane. It's also going to be the main way to get into rank 8s. I like playing this at 3 for that reason as well, because I want to see him in my hand. Seeing 2, as you saw in the replay, seeing 2 in your hand is not a bad thing at all. You also have a Lure of Darkness to banish if you need him. He's dark as well, which is great. But yeah, Getsuga, really strong card. Moving on from Getsuga, we have 3 Twilight Ninja Jogan. This is another really strong card for the archetype. So we're going to be playing his pendulum effect is, if your ninja monster attacks a defense position monster, you get piercing damage, and then you can reveal ninjutsu art card in your hand and special summon this from your hand. If it attacks a defense monster, it does piercing. So what's amazing about this card is it's not a once per turn, and you always get decks like these that don't have any hard once per turns or only have soft once per turns that you really abuse. So if you can get multiple Jogans plus a ninjutsu art in your hand, I mean, you can do insane things. That's one of the reasons why you can see my extra deck have rank 7s to kind of rank up into, because if you, a lot of the times that's going to be the secondary combo. If you don't get Hope Harbinger out, you're going to be looking to get Vortex plus Appaloosa instead by summoning 2 Jogans. But yeah, really good card. Another one that you definitely want to have in your deck at 3. He's rarely going to be a brick in your hand. We then have Yellow Ninja. So if it's normal summoned or flip face up, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower ninja from your hand in attack or face down defense position. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except ninja monsters. So this card is really good. However, he has disadvantage of blocking you into ninjas, so I only really use him turns 2 and beyond. After my first turn, he's gonna allow me to recycle and bring out that Saizo really easily. He is still a really good card, which is why I play him at 3, but he's not the main point of this variant, and you're rarely gonna bring him out. If you do bring him out on turn 1, you will be able to still spam ninjas. You'll just have the disadvantage of that while you're spamming ninjas, you won't be able to go into anything relevant in the extra deck. The ninja extra deck monsters aren't amazing apart from their link. Their link is actually a really good link too, but the disadvantage he has is that he doesn't do anything active to stop your opponent. He's really a defensive, and this deck is actually quite a defensive deck, though it is quite versatile. It's got low effects, but yeah, that's why we don't go for him. But I still do play him at 3 because you do want to see him in your hand, and he's going to be the last thing I search with my Hanzos. As you saw my combo, I always add one to my hand for my next turn, so that if my opponent does manage to break my board, I just normal summon yellow ninja, and then I start going into size and playing a slower kind of grindy control game. We play 3 Hanzo, Ninja, Grandmaster, Hanzo. This is the heart and soul of the deck, and it's one of the things that makes the deck so strong. So if it's normal summon, you can add a ninjutsu R from your deck to your hand, and if it's flip or special summon, you can add the ninja from your deck to your hand, except itself. So what makes this card awesome is there's no once per turn whatsoever. You summon 2 at the same time, you're getting both of those effects off at the same time, and they're going to be 2 of these are going to be your targets with Getsuga. It's such a strong card. If you normal summon it as well, it's basically 2 free draws, because one of the combos you can do with him is normal summoning him, add a ninjutsu or notebook, and then use that to discard another ninja, add your alchemy, and then draw 2 cards. So he's also quite a good draw engine if you just happen to have the normal summon. You've already got Isolde quite easily, but yeah, really good card, Hanzo. We play 1 Shingetsu. This is again for turns 2 and beyond. He's probably the only real brick I have in my deck. So monsters your opponent controls can't target face-up ninjas for attacks. Your opponent also can't target face-up ninjas for card effects, except this card. If it's destroyed by battle or destroyed by card effects, sent to your graveyard, you can add a ninja from your deck to your hand, except this card, and you can only use that effect once per turn. So Shingetsu, he's really there for turns 2 and beyond. Having him, and then he's also pointed to by a Hanzo is a really good kind of lock, and it really makes it hard for your opponent to deal with it. If you have 2 Shingetsus on the field, I mean, you have another kind of lock that your opponent can't target any of your monsters for card effects or target them for battles. I mean, it's really good cards like that, but I only play him 1 because this is a going first focus deck. We're not even allowing our opponents to get a battle phase, that's why we don't want to play more than 1, but he is good for the name, just another ninja name. And then 3 Upstart Golden Ninja. This is such an old card. It's probably one of the first ninja cards released, but it's a really good card. Once per turn, set a trap from your hands of grave, special summon a level 4 low ninja from your deck and face up defense or face down defense. So yeah, what makes this card so good, obviously, is just that ability to special summon any ninja. You're almost always going to go straight for that Hanzo with this. You can summon, if you have 2 traps for example, you can summon another Upstart and then go into. So for example with Isolde, sometimes I will go into Upstart instead of going into a Hanzo, and then use Hanzo to summon the go into Upstart instead of Hanzo, and then use Upstart to summon another Hanzo. So yeah, he is a really good card. He's your second strong starter. So him and Hanzo are probably your 2 best starters. Jogen's also a good starter if you have enough ninja, one of your traps in your hand. But yeah, really good card. And then 1 Twilight Ninja Kagan. Can't pendulum summon except ninjas. This can't be negated. And once per turn, if your ninja declares an attack, you can make that monster gain 1000 attack until the end of the damage step. And then monster effect, tribute this card to target a ninja you control, gains 800 attack to the end of this turn. So this card is entirely just there to be searched off Isolde. He's probably the second brick other than Shingetsu. It's really just about adding him from Isolde. What's really good is Isolde stops you from using or special summoning that monster, but if it's pendulum monster, you can still activate it and scale. So it basically means that Isolde's first effect becomes really good for you, because it gets you that free Kagan to put in a scale, and it basically means that this is why Isolde is so strong, because it means that Isolde allows you, any 2 ninja monsters will get you your full scales and a link 2 on board, which is insane. So yeah, really good card. We do want to have him at 1 in the deck. We then play 2 Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness, obviously, just for that draw power, is going to be really useful in this deck. And we've got a lot of darks. We've got 3 Getsuga for darks, then we've got 3 Jogen, then we've got 3 Hanzos, then we've got Shingetsu, and then we've got Kagan. So we're playing, is that 8, 9, 10 darks, playing 10 dark monsters. You could definitely even bump this up to 3 if you wanted to, and go up to 41. There's really no bad thing about doing that. We then have 1 Armor Ninjutsu of Alchemy. So like I said before, this is to go with Ninjutsu Notebook. and it's just another efficient draw engine you can do in the deck. And it's also a good way to get ninjas out of your hand into the graveyard to summon with Getsuba if you need to do. But yeah, he basically pot of well, I'm not gonna call it pot of greed. It's not pot of greed. It's more like hand destruction or something like that. But yeah, really good card. We have the one Rota, the one Riesling, the one Reborn, just really strong one-offs. Again, you're trying to get into his old. That's your play. That's your turn one play. Get into his old, and that's why we are definitely going to be playing one of each of these kind of power cards just to either accelerate our strategy like Rota or to just get us those free summons so we can get into that his old. We then are going to be playing 3 Called by the Grave, just a really good card for dealing with Ash and stuff like that. Ash Blossom is a bit of a frustrating thing for you. To be honest, Nibiru is the card you really need to worry about in this deck, as it is of all rogue decks. There's not a lot you can do about it though. So Called by the Grave is going to be just a nice card to have to deal with those other hand traps that can cause you issues sometimes. But this deck is not too bad at playing through a few hand traps just because it's so efficient in those summons. Like I said, again, get to his old, you get your full combo. That's what makes it so good. We have the Ninjutsu Art Notebook to go with the Alchemy. You can also use it obviously to search the others if you really want to, because those are good negations as well. Then we have our equip spells for Isolde. I play 5. I really like having 1 extra because it is pretty likely you will draw one of them just because of the way probability works. So it's nice to still have 4 in the deck so that you can still extend. Otherwise, you always want to dump 4 so you can get your Hanzo special summoned out of the deck or your upstart summoned out of the deck. We then play 3 Shade Brigadine. I'm saying this name wildly, but yeah, really good card. It's a trap firstly, so Upstart Golden Ninja can discard it, which is amazing. I love having internal synergy like that in my deck. Then also it's a warrior, which means it's another card that you can use to summon his old, and it's level 4, so it's another card you can use for rank 4s. Everything about this card is awesome, which is why I really like having it at 3 in my deck, just a free monster basically. Then we have Ninja Trap, so we have Rust Mist. So Rust Mist reads if a monster special comes to your field, half as while you control ninja, half as attack, great effect. Then Shadow Sealing, tribute a ninja to target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish that target. Another really good field. It also locks the monster zone. In Martial 4, Martial 3, this would have been really strong. Nowadays, this is probably a lot less relevant because you're not blocking link zones that are going to matter that much, but still a really good effect. Mirage Transformation allows you to special summon a monster from your opponent's board. Its secondary effect isn't that relevant. I mean, I guess it does have its applications, but it's really just the ability to summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard. That's really good. And Freezing, which is really nice, allows you to end the battle phase for free, which is another really good card. All of these ninja traps are really unique interruption, and again, this is what I think makes the deck so good, because it can make an insane board at turn 1, but then when it's cleared you can just start extending and play the kind of control-y grindy ninja game. I also forgot to mention their field spell, which is great because this allows you to add these traps back to hand. So that's what I really like about this deck. You can discard them off of Golden Ninja and stuff, but it doesn't mean they're gone. When a deck can recycle spells and traps, it's always a really good sign because it just gives them a lot of staying power. So it's funny, this potentially, if you're playing a pure ninja deck, I would definitely advise bumping this up to 2 or 3 just because it's so useful to be able to recycle your spells and traps. As long as you've got this, all of your cards are recyclable, which is amazing. But let's move into the extra deck. So to start off with, we've got, I'm actually going to sort it from levels, so we're going to start off with Wee Witch's Apprentice. This is really just about link climbing. We have this usually to go into Avramax. A different board you can do is having Avramax plus your Abyss Dweller or whatever, and your Hope Harbinger. You can do that instead, and the difference is you simply link into Wee Witch's Apprentice and then link that with the Isolde to go into Avramax. That's if you're against a deck that you know isn't going to care as much about Appaloosa like Eldritch or something. Then it becomes a lot more effective to have an Avramax to protect your board. We have Isolde, the queen of the deck. The reason why I do play this at 1 though, especially in decks like this, is because chances are if your first one gets negated, you're not going to have the resources to go into a second. So it's better off to put a lot of different cards in your extra deck so you can carry on combo off than try and put 3 Isoldes when you haven't got the ability to summon 3 Isoldes in 1 turn anyway. Moving on, we have one Saizo, really good link monster for the archetype, allows you to set a ninjutsu art directly from the deck, also protects the card that it's pointed to, which is really nice, protects itself while it's pointing to a card, which is really nice. We have the Unicorn, another really good card. I don't play Masquerena in this deck just because I don't really want to. I'd rather play these kind of powerful links and like floodgate my opponent, especially because the cards in my hand are important for my turns 2 and beyond. I want the ability to play after the initial few turns. We're going to be having our Zephyr Metaltron, another really good card. This is going to go with the Absolute Dragon to make that Vortex Dragon. Soldier of Chaos, really easy to get him with the effect because you have quite a few high level monsters. Appaloosa and Skull Dread, again Appaloosa, really nice boss monsters. Skull Dread, Oral Sword and Avramax, or just really good link force to go into in this deck. A Dweller is another really good one, but this can switch for any rank 4. Dweller is quite good this format though, so I would keep him. Really good rank 4 to go into. Time Thief Redoer, so here's mainly then, I don't know if I did it in the replay, but essentially a lot of the times you will have 2 Hanzos on the field, or you'll have one Hanzo in the field and one in the graveyard, and you want to use Getsuga's effect, or I'll use this to kind of clean up my board a bit. I actually forgot, so that board I made was also going to have a Redoer come back the next time, which is insane as well when you think about that. But yeah, so Redoer is a really good card you can use to kind of clean up your board for that. Another card you can use is Dugares the Timeless. However, like I said, this deck has grind potential after turn 1, so you don't really want to rely on just kind of banking everything on your turn 1. You want to have a bit in the tank, so I do like Redoer instead for dumping those cards. Then we have the Absolute Dragon and the Vortex for that package, really good negate. And we have Hope, Harbinger, Titanic the Galaxy, another strong rank 8. So again, the rank 8, the rank 4, these can switch for anything you want in those categories to fit them. You can also switch to Absolute for like a Flare Metal or something if you wanted to. This deck is another one that could easily fit in a Dragoon package if I wanted to. I just chose not to, but if you really wanted to, guys, definitely you could fit a Red Eye Predaplant Verte Anaconda and a Dragoon package in this deck, and it would easily be able to summon him at the end of his combo. But for some extra deck cards, guys, you know it's the standard, so probably the best one to go with this deck is going to be something like Lightning Storm. This card is going to beat most boards, not beat most boards, but it's definitely going to be a threat to most boards, which is really good. It's quite expensive, but I would definitely recommend picking up if you've got the money. The kind of budget alternative, but it's a different card, but it does just as well, in my opinion. It's evenly matched. Another really good card for just clearing your opponent's board. Again, this is a really efficient deck, so you can afford to kind of have these big blowout hand traps, because all you need is 2 or 3 cards to get into your main combo, which is really good. Then Dark Ruler No More, another really strong card. This deck is great at clearing boards after turn 1 because you can put so many different materials, so you definitely want to have a card like Dark Ruler No More that allows you to do it. Another alternative would be someone like Mystic Mind. The disadvantage of there is that you will spam the board, so there will be points where your opponent can actually use card effects. Moving on, I like Twin Twisters for this deck just because you do quite like discarding. Is a really good effect for this deck, because a lot of your ninjas obviously can be brought from the graveyard for special effects by Getsuga. And lastly, I would say Imperm. I really like Imperm, and again, traps in the deck are great because of Upstart Golden Ninja. Imperm gives you the ability to counter a lot of cards like Needle Fiber and stuff, and not have to worry about Called by the Grave. So guys, that was my ninja deck profile. This deck is so fun. Yeah, I'm so shocked at how much I've enjoyed it, but yeah, I really do like it. And it's one of my first Isolde decks that I've actually made. I'm not usually into the warrior deck specifically, I'm more into like different kind of rogue decks, but it was really fun learning and playing this deck. So yes, stay tuned for more. I'll definitely have some more deck profiles coming out for you soon, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.